Welcome to Five or Flop, a podcast for the best and worst historical fiction has to offer. I'm your host, Grace.
And I'm Erin, and each week we're going to be reading a different historical fiction book to see if they're a five or a flop.
Our theme for season 3 is back to school, and we are reading another children's classic this week, Catherine Called Birdy by Karen Cushman.
And thank God you said the author's name because I don't know if I put it on the document anywhere, so that's really good for me.
I have it down here in this list of fun facts.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, I'll hold that question for a bit. What's new with you, Grace?
I am eagerly looking forward to my mental health day that I took this week.
Yes.
I had not booked any PTO for like the last 6 months of the year.
Oh my God.
So I was like, you know what? I can have a little Friday off as a treat.
You deserve it.
Yeah. So I'm going to, do nothing and enjoy it very much. You, however, will be doing a lot of things.
I will be doing a lot. Before I get into that, I just want to say, I know she's super behind, so she's not going to hear this for like 7 months. But my mom took like her first ever mental health day from work. And I am so proud of her because me and my sister are big like proponents of mental health day. So funny story, my senior year, it was very obvious I was like not going to flunk out. Like I was top of my class. Like it's not a big deal. But anyways, so every other week I'd be like, Mom, I'm taking a mental health day. She's like, again? I'm like, I am not going to school. But yes, I'm very proud of her. And I'm very proud of you because mental health is important here at the pod.
Absolutely. If we did not maintain our mental health, we couldn't produce the pod.
No, and that would really negatively impact the mental health of our 4 consistent listeners. So 5 consistent listeners. I forgot Santiago. So yes, I do have a busy Friday ahead. I am going to Dallas.
Woo!
As many of you may remember, one of our dear podcast guest hosts, Noelle, who did our star sign readings for our different characters quite a while ago.
And once we have enough real people with real birthdays, we will have her back to do it again.
Yes, for sure. We have to keep track of that because I don't know if we've had a ton so far.
No, not many.
But it is her birthday this weekend. Also, it is my dog's Flynn's birthday. They're birthday twins. So I'm going to Dallas for her birthday.
And if you all listen back to that episode, you can use that information that Noelle gave about her own personal star chart to deduce what kind of personality she has.
Exactly.
But happy birthday, friend of the pod, Noelle. And yes. I don't know, is Flynn a friend of the pod?
Flynn's an enemy of Grace. So enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And a neutral party to the pod, Flynn.
Yes, Flynn is turning 10, which is kind of crazy. I feel like that's like, this is going to sound so mean, but I'm going to leave it in. That's almost like a bigger deal than Noelle turning 26. Because dogs that turn 10, that is like their 50th, you know?
Yeah, I guess
that's the big 1-0.
Maybe Noelle would have the edge if she was turning 25 instead of 26.
Yes, that makes it sound a lot nicer than what I said. Sorry, Noelle, if you're listening.
It's all about the round numbers, baby.
Yes.
Well, also, it's just funny that Flynn is kind of old. I think that not Flynn specifically, but any dog that's small when they're old is funny. Because
I agree.
We do not associate small with old.
I like when they hobble. Flynn is also tricky because she has gray fur, so she is not going to ever look that old.
No, she's as old as she's gonna look.
Exactly. So when she was a puppy, everyone was like, oh my God, a puppy. And then even now when people see her, they're like, oh, how old is your puppy? Like, she's so little.
It's like when you're an adult and you have a baby face, and when you're young, you hate it. You're like, oh, because I look so young. And then when you're old, you're like, oh, I look so young.
Exactly.
But Flynn did it in the reverse.
Exactly. She had old face. She went to the beach that made her old.
Stop. My favorite joke. Do you have anything that you're going to be reading on your flight to Dallas?
You mean listening to?
Oh, excuse me.
And yes, because I was probably going to finish listening to it on my drive home from work yesterday, but instead I listened to Taylor Swift. I am listening to The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek.
Ooh.
Or probably pronounced Troublesome Crick, because this is a country book. It's historical fiction. It's about back before like cars and public infrastructure and all of that in like really rural parts of America. They had like a traveling library service where women, it's actually probably around the same time as the Four Winds, now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
So, cars existed.
The beginning of like government services.
Yes, it was a like FDR initiative. So cars did exist, but they weren't, they didn't have that infrastructure. So they would hire women to go around on like mules to deliver books through like the rural countryside. Aww. And this book specifically is interested because have you heard of the Blue People of Kentucky?
Maybe, but nothing is coming to mind right now.
It is like this, from my understanding, and I have not done a lot of research, But there was this one family in Kentucky, a very big family, but that was so inbred that their skin was like tinted blue.
Oh, I think I have heard of that.
It is about, she is like the last blue person in her area.
Ooh.
So it's all about like, it's very interesting because it does deal with like racial segregation because there are black characters in the book. Mm-hmm. And she's grouped into like the, oh, no coloreds allowed.
The others.
So it's very interesting because it's such a small group, like it really doesn't ever get brought up. But it's very interesting to read about. So.
Huh.
Or listen to, and the audiobook does have a very fun little Kentucky accent she throws in there.
No Italians?
No Italians. Also, I'm really hoping I'm remembering correctly and that it's Kentucky. I'll double check that and I'll edit as necessary.
Okay.
What are you reading?
I read last week the new Percy Jackson book.
How was that? I didn't even know it was coming out already.
Yeah, I have to. Well, neither did the girl who works at the bookstore when I went to pre-order it. I was like, hello, I would like one pre-order copy of the new Percy Jackson book. And she was like, wait, when is that coming out? So I've done her a service. It was good. I think my feelings on it have slightly changed in between this one and the last one. Okay. Because when the one came out last year, the TV show hadn't come out yet. And now it has. And I didn't enjoy the TV show. So I'm reading the book, which is like a good book, but also is promo for a show that I don't enjoy.
Are you still going to watch the next season?
I am. Frankly, here's the thing. They're going to have to do a lot to lose me.
Yeah, Grace is like
I'm very
the
dedicated.
number one Percy Jackson fan.
Yeah, I am to Percy Jackson as you are to Twilight.
Actually, what's funny is that I was always more Harry Potter than Twilight. Literally, have I talked about the Twilight premiere I went to where I wore a homemade Team Potter, Team Weasley shirt?
So not like other girls.
No, I was literally not like other girls.
Well, I am as you are to Twilight in your current era.
Yes, okay, that's fair. Actually, Santiago and I just started watching, and your mom will be proud to know, not during work, we started watching the Harry Potter movies. So we added that to our rotation of other movie series, which includes King Kong Godzilla and Alien.
Okay. Has he ever seen them before?
He has, but just not, like, he didn't remember the plot.
Like, in a casual way?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, he had no idea when Quirrell, like, took off his turban that there was going to be a head on the back.
Ooh.
So, he was a casual fan. I could probably quote most of the movies and the books.
Okay.
So, we have a big discrepancy. It's like when we watched Twilight.
Yeah. I am probably closer to you than Santiago. Yeah. I always liked Harry Potter, but it was my secondary interest, you know?
Yeah, Percy Jackson was like my secondary. It was, for me, it was Harry Potter, Twilight, Percy Jackson.
I feel like they went together. Like,
yeah,
people who liked one usually like the other.
It's like Super Hulock. You have two of the three, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it is usually.
Yeah. Well, let's get into our book for the week.
Yes. We are reading Catherine Called Birdy, which this is a format of a diary, which we will be seeing many, many times this season. It seems to be quite popular for children's historical.
And I love it. So keep them coming.
So synopsis time.
Okay.
Catherine feels trapped. Her father is determined to marry her off to a rich man, any rich man, no matter how awful. But by wit, trickery, and luck, Catherine manages to send several would-be husbands packing. Then a shaggy bearded suitor from the north comes to call, by far the oldest, ugliest, most revolting suitor of them all. Unfortunately, he's also the richest. They always are. Can a sharp-tongued, high-spirited, clever young maiden with a mind of her own actually lose the battle against an ill-mannered, pig-like lord and an unimaginative, greedy toad of a father? Deus. Not if Catherine has anything to say about it. What's interesting is I did not know that, well, I wouldn't know because I don't read synopses, clearly. It doesn't mention the time period or anything.
No, and that's the most important thing about this book because, as we'll get into it,
this would be crazy if you did not know the time period.
It's setting driven. It is a medieval. It is England in the year 1290.
Yeah.
And that is the crucial element. I guess if you pick up the book to read the synopsis, you've seen the cover.
Yeah, and the cover is pretty clear.
And they're like, you have what you need to know. They did not anticipate the birth of Amazon, I guess, when they wrote the synopsis when this book came out.
Yes. So, yeah, good to know. Let's get into the author, Karen Cushman.
Woo!
So she's in her 80s. So I think we have a couple back-to-back really old authors. They went to the beach. So she lives in Seattle. She's written several children's books that I've personally never heard of, but seem to be quite well known.
Okay.
She started writing at 49, and she said she, quote, has no plans to stop until I am at least 100. So I love that for her. I love when we get authors who are representative of the fact that not everyone is like in their 20s and a best-selling author. Like a lot of people turn to writing later in life.
Yeah, some people are R.F. Kuang, some people are Karen Cushman.
Exactly. This book did win a Newbery Honor, and The Midwife's Apprentice, which seems to be her other best-known book, won the 1996 Newbery Medal.
Woo!
So that is exciting.
Yeah, but that at least explains why I also had not read Karen Cushman before.
Yeah.
So her books were coming out, I think, slightly before our time. And I think children's books do stay germane, I think, a little bit longer than maybe adult books sometimes do. Mm-hmm. But I still, this one, her other book won the Newbery in 96. We were both born after 96.
Yeah, we're young. Something that I really liked on her website is that she has a page that's called 20 Odd Facts. So it's like 20 fun facts about her. I think we'd do something fun, and I would like for you to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 20.
Ooh, okay.
Let's do this individually, so let's go one at a time so I don't forget.
Number 9.
Number 9. Best subject is school. English, of course. Least favorite was government. Subject I wish I'd studied harder was Latin. Very
that
interesting.
would do her very well with all these medieval books.
Yes.
Okay. 20.
20. Hobby. Growing things in my yard to bring into the house. Tomato, rosemary, lavender, daisies, apples, pears, hazelnuts, and blackberries. Which I didn't know those grew in Seattle, but sure.
Okay. And then 5.
Weird things I love. Pet rats, carrot juice, and the movie Ishtar.
Okay. I'm going to say she got me on 1.5 of those. I am open to watching that movie, but I don't know what it is. Carrot juice, I'm with her. Rats, no.
Yeah, I was going to say rats is like your nightmare.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I guess if it's a pet, it's one thing. At least you know where it's supposed to be.
Gross.
I don't want a pet rat. However, Karen does seem like she has a very fun personality.
She does. She seems like a good time. I'm going to give you one more for fun.
Great.
Things I love. The full moon, fog, and potato chips.
I'm with her 3 for 3 on that one.
Yeah, that's why I gave you that one. I'm like, okay, well,
yeah.
I wish all of our authors did this because I thought that was a lot of fun. Actually, her birthday must be coming up because she is a Libra, so...
Just like some other people that we discussed, or is the time...
Noelle and Flynn. I don't... Yeah, they're all Libras.
There we go.
So something else I really liked about her website, and I'll kind of refer back to this a bit with the historical accuracy, but she actually has a page of bibliography. So it's all just the books she references when she's writing her books.
That's amazing.
So, and sorted, she has books in different time periods. So she has medieval times, she has in America in the 19th century, Elizabethan times in general, and language.
That is amazing.
So that is really good, I think, especially for young readers. And I would imagine a lot of these could kind of be geared towards young. I didn't really look at anything on the list, but I'm like, at least some could probably be applicable for younger readers.
Well, this is what I think back in the day people would call a chapter book, meaning it's for middle grade. So that's a decent range in terms of your educational development. It's between 7 and 12 or 13. Yeah. So,
I could definitely see a 13-year-old still enjoying this.
Yeah, kids on the older end of that spectrum who have a little bit more, internet usage literacy, maybe have some more free open projects at school. Yeah. That would be great for them if they really like this book to find that info on Karen Cushman's website.
So I think authors should have that and also 20 Odd Facts because I think that's really fun.
Yes, it's a great game.
So this one, so you have not read anything else by Karen?
No, but I had heard of this and I had heard of The Midwife's Apprentice.
I have not heard of either of them. I also did not know there is a very recent movie with the most insane fucking casting lineup.
Okay, I want to set this up for our listeners. Here is how we found out about the movie.
Yes.
I did not have a physical copy of this book, but I was like, oh, this is a famous book. Maybe I can check one out from the library. Mm-hmm. And so I went on the Libby app, big love to the Libby app, to see if they had an ebook, and they did. But the first line of description for the Catherine Called Birdy ebook read, read the book that was the basis for the hit film by Lena Dunham. And I was like, huh?
Yeah. So it's directed by Lena Dunham. It came out in 2022. And let me just some highlights of the cast. So we have Ellie from The Last of Us, Bella Ramsey,
Slay,
Catherine. She is Catherine Called Birdy. They are Catherine Called Birdy.
Slay.
And then we have Joe Alwyn of Not Letting Taylor Swift Be Jeweled fame, playing the hot uncle, which good for him for not being unemployed for once in his life, if you know where I stand on any Joe Alwyn things. The hot priest from Fleabag, I think he's Lord what's his name? Andrew Scott?
Yeah.
Lord Rollo.
Catherine's dad?
Is that Catherine's dad?
Yeah.
He's the awful dad?
So, hot priest is Ellie from The Last of Us is dad in this movie.
And then
her uncle is Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend.
Lady Aslan. Is that the mom? Or
I
is
think
that
so.
Okay, someone. Rose Tyler from Doctor Who, Miss Billie Piper. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy lineup.
I feel like...
How do all of these people exist in the same universe?
No, I know. It's like none of them are generically famous name actors, but they are all famous in a different niche way.
Like Bella Ramsey, famous data scientist Ashley, obsessed with Bella Ramsey.
Yeah.
Well, more correct.
Because Ashley loves The Last of Us.
Of course. So I'm also a big fan of Bella Ramsey. Thought they did a great job in The Last of Us. Rose from Doctor Who, I know her name's Billie Piper, but Rose Tyler from Doctor Who, hated her. She was awful.
The actors are Rose Tyler.
Rose Tyler. So I feel very negatively. The hot priest from Fleabag, I really liked Fleabag. And as someone who was formerly Catholic, I really liked the hot priest.
And see, I didn't watch Fleabag, so my association of Andrew Scott is when he played Moriarty on Sherlock. We were just talking about Super Who lock.
Yeah.
I did not have the Super Who, I just had the lock.
Oh, okay. I had the Super Who.
So together with
So we need someone
hair.
from Supernatural. We need Misha Collins to be in this movie.
Oh my god.
And then Joe Alwyn. Okay. Sure.
The only other thing that I have seen him in was The Favorite, and these two movies are not comparable.
I have not seen him in anything. I just know him from the jokes on Twitter, which is like...
He's always unemployed.
And like when you see Taylor Swift and her family at a football game, they're like, you didn't see her at a Conversations with Friends premiere. So that's all I know him from.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
I'm sure he lives a really great life.
He was in something called Mary, Queen of Scots. So
oh my
maybe
god,
he's
with
like,
Saoirse Ronan?
We're gonna find out.
Please confirm.
Maybe this is like his, yeah.
Okay, unfortunately that movie was
And
really
Margot
bad.
Robbie.
That movie was horrible. So sorry to Saoirse, who I love, and Margot, who did a bad job in that movie, but you know,
and
it's
Joe
okay.
Alwyn, I wish you could have been jeweled.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, we
So-
talked about this movie for a really long time.
We're gonna watch the movie.
We are oh, and then the other thing is it's an Amazon Prime movie.
So we can actually access it. We are 20 minutes in and we have not got to the book.
No, oh my gosh. Okay, we need to step it up. But I will say, here's my last thing that I'll leave you with about the movie. I am halfway through watching Girls for the first time, so by the time we do watch the movie, I will have some very insightful things to say about the Lena Dunham directing. So,
Okay.
There we go.
Great. We're actually going to share our disclaimer this week because I think we've missed it for half the season. Our judgments come based on the book and characters within it rather than any real historical figures they may have been based on. Don't think that's the case here.
This is one of the books with the least basis in real history that we have read.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that when I was struggling to do the historical accuracy.
Yeah. Well, we can dive right in now with that as our entry point, where it is kind of like Josefina, where the point of it not is to be like, this is a historical event that these characters lived alongside, like Johnny Tremaine was. The point is just to be kind of like the ambiance of the day-to-day life of the era. However, the combo of Catherine Called Birdy, the 1-2 punch, is that it is that, and also there's really not any plot.
No, it's just kind of like, oh my god, which book was it where I'm like, it was only set in this time? Oh, it was Taya Cooper, The Cartographer's Secret, where I was like, oh, it's only set in this time so she can be like, I'm a woman who's restricted by society. It's like that, except she can also wear fancy dresses.
Yeah. And so there is that plot line that runs through that we talked about in the synopsis where her father is trying to marry her off. But it's written as a diary, and in the beginning especially, like that only turns up once every handful of of entries. Once you get towards the end, it ramps up more and more. But you read it first and you texted me and you were like, there is nothing happening. And frankly, I just thought you were being a hater.
No.
And then I started reading it.
Nothing happened.
And I was like, oh, like you're right. Like nothing is happening really.
It's like how Johnny Tremaine, like nothing happened up until the end, except nothing happened at all.
Yeah. And I don't always mind that, especially when a book like this is like 200 pages. However, you were not like, they weren't necessarily people you wanted to spend time with that much.
No.
What I have written down, I was like, I need to compare this to something. So I had 2 ideas.
Okay.
And they were Downton Abbey, but if you hated everyone in it.
Okay.
And Game of Thrones, if it was really boring.
Yeah.
And that sounds extreme. Like, I feel like it's me saying that I hated this book, and I didn't necessarily.
The other Boleyn girl, if they were all 11 and weren't allowed to have sex.
Exactly like that. And they were, like, much less important.
Yeah. They didn't matter at all.
Because there is some really funny parts where Catherine is like, we're really not that rich. We only have, like, 4 servants.
She's like, I still have to clean.
Yeah, she's like, if we were really rich, I wouldn't have to do any chores, but I do.
She was a wacky as a main character. She was very much trying to be like the spunky tween girl.
And she was. But the thing is, she succeeded in not being like a Mary Sue because Karen Cushman committed to her. And she actually had her do a bunch of like annoying and bad things.
Karen, I think did character. I don't think characterization is one of our categories, but I think this season. Mm-hmm. But I think the characters were really good.
Karen came out swinging.
Oh, characters is. I'm sorry, I just forgot about our star calculator.
Well, Karen, that's good news for you.
Yeah, big win for you.
Yeah, I did write down here. I love reading about Catherine, but if I knew her in real life, I would thwack her in the head with a newspaper.
I think that's a good way to put it. She just like her whole shtick is just like suitors will come to her like palace and she'll be like, oh, you're coming to see like Lady Catherine, like, oh my god, that's so generous of you. She is so ugly. She is like the ugliest person in the world, and it would work almost every time the guy would leave.
It was so funny, and every time she had a different technique. Like one time she like walked into dinner and there was a suitor there that her dad like didn't tell her about because he knew she wouldn't come to dinner, so she just like sneezed all over his food and it made him leave, and it worked.
She's so wacky. One of her greatest one-liners was like right towards the beginning when she goes, I am near 14 and have never yet seen a hanging. My life is barren.
She also has this one brother that she hates whose name is Robert.
Oh, she hates him so much.
And she has so many good zingers about Robert. Like, she's talking about, like, how he's their mother's, like, favorite child or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I do not understand it at all. If I had given birth to him, I would have left him on the hill to die of exposure. I was just like, see, like, I can't be that pissed about this book when Catherine's so funny. However, if she was, like, if I lived in the village and the little rich girl was, like, running around my village and messing things up, I would be pissed as hell about it. Because she was in poor people's business. Yeah,
and I would love to say that there was, like, more to it. But it was literally just her, like, getting rid of these suitors. And then when this one suitor does come, Shaggy Beard is his name. Mm-hmm. And she has to go off to marry him. And you think something's going to happen. He dies. And then the plot's over.
Okay. This is an interesting topic of conversation, I think, is the way that the ending is structured.
Yes.
So this entire time in the whole book, Catherine is like fighting against this idea of being married off. She's like fighting her dad. Mm-hmm. She's doing all these tricks to get these suitors to leave. And then finally this like horrible guy comes and he's like paying a lot of money for her. And she, essentially what it comes down to is she's like, I can still like figure out a way to get out of it somehow. But he has sent her this money. Mm-hmm. And she's like, if I take it and use it for something like to do good, then that means like that I'm agreeing to marry him. Mm-hmm. So like, what do? Do I look out for my own self-interest or do I help others? Mm-hmm. And she decides like, you know what? No one can ever take away like from me, like what I really am. I will always be Catherine.
Yeah.
Like I can survive like a bad situation and I will like help other people. So I will agree to the marriage. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's the growth point that you're seeking in your character. And then she gets back. And the suitor has died. And they're like, it's no problem. We have a new marriage for you. You're just going to marry his hot son.
She's like,
sure. And she's like, great, amazing.
Yeah,
glad to hear it. Yeah. So I was also conflicted about this. Because at first I was like, so nothing had to happen then. Like that was kind of undone by actions unrelated to Catherine. Mm-hmm. However, I don't necessarily know if I think that type of like moral ending where if you work on yourself inwardly, good things will happen outside. Kind of like the moral of Cinderella is like, if you're always nice, then good things will happen to you. So I think that's not like a moral that always holds true in real life.
Yeah.
However, I don't necessarily think it's bad as like a lesson for kids. You can't milk this for too long, but I think for kids to like have the idea that it's like, not only should you do good things and like learn and grow because it's good for you, you should because the world will recognize that you're doing that. So I'm like, okay, this is like a moral where like a good thing happened to her that she didn't work to earn, or that's like, it's not really moralistic if your dad like marries you off against your will. Like sometimes that just happens and it sucks. But you know, I'm 50-50 on the ending.
My question is like, how is this a movie?
They must have made some stuff up.
How is this like so they have to have made a plot, first of all.
Yeah, maybe there's just like they beefed up the more elements of like this whole marriage arc. Because the other half of it is that she has a crush on her hot uncle.
Yeah.
Joe
Which,
Owen.
I mean, I guess was like fine at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, whatever.
But then her friend wanted to marry her hot uncle.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I would have liked, and maybe they do in the movie. She ostensibly had these like 2 friends. I needed more of the friends.
Yeah, I needed a lot more. Well, let's see. Let's see if the friends are even near the top of the IMDb page. Well, I also needed more of the friends.
Yeah, so she has the friend that's like the girl her age, and she also has a goat boy who is her best friend.
Different from the goat that was Josefina's enemy.
Yes, nice goat. But they, like, she's always just running around causing mischief. And I'm like, I need this to be more of a buddy comedy than it is. Like, I feel like this poor girl needs friends. Like, with her brothers she hates, and her dad she hates, and her mom who's too pregnant to get up, who she loves, but who can't get up. And her, like, governess who is always scolding her because she's always doing stupid stuff. It was just like, she needs her friends more.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest note that I would have to give to Karen. I was like, I need more of the friend hijinks.
The friends are pretty low down on the IMDb. And the one who plays Perkin, it doesn't even have a picture on IMDb.
Ooh, okay. So they focused on their famous actors that they hired.
They're random, that they pulled from these random, very niches.
I bet you there's a lot of scenes of just the grown-ups that Catherine's not in.
Yeah, probably.
Like, she's still the star of the show, but I bet you they beefed up a lot of the other roles.
Yeah. This book really did make me think about living in these conditions without heat or AC, because she was, like, really fucking good. She was going to freeze to death at some point.
Oh, my gosh. No, there was a scene where, like, one of the servants got trapped in, like, the chicken house for, like, a week because it snowed and he couldn't get out. Just, like, yeah. It's so interesting.
I hope that scene is elaborated upon.
Oh my God, I hope so too. But like the dichotomy of like you have all this money and luxury and like nice clothes and you live in like a castle or whatever, but also you're just so at the mercy of the elements.
Yeah, that's my nightmare. I'm like, I would not want to be rich back in the day like that if I had to deal with the elements.
Well, and this was, as far as kids' books go, there was a lot of like dark stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the mom is pregnant for most of the book, and Catherine's like, I really hope that this one doesn't also die, because then mom will be really sad, because it happens a lot.
Yeah, they speak very casually. Like, when people die, they're just like, oh, which, I mean, time period accuracy, yeah. But, like, it was very like, oh, that person's kid died.
Wah, wah.
But, yeah, it was darker than I expected. And, like, her father's super abusive.
Yeah, which you never really, like... You don't get a sense that that's going to be fixed.
No.
Because it won't be.
No.
I mean, I guess she won't have to deal with him anymore when she's off married to the hot son.
Yeah, I mean, right?
So.
The book I would compare this most to, from what we've read, is actually probably The Cartographer's Secret. Because nothing happens, and it's really only set in that time period, so she can be like, but I'm a woman, and I can't do these things. But for her, for Catherine Called Birdy, it's because I'm a girl. I can't do these things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Unfortunate.
I know. And at least, like, there was the recognition of Catherine is trying to think of all of these things that she can do instead of being a wife. She's like, I'll hide in, like, the monastery where my brother lives.
She tried to come up with
solutions. And I'll, like, go live with my weird aunt and we'll be witches together. And and finally she just is confronted with like, I have no skills and I just like, it's not feasible for me to do anything else. Yeah. So.
I mean, I wish I had more to say about this book, but.
I know. I did think I would like it more.
I thought you were really going to like it, and then I read it, and then I'm like, I don't think Grace is going to like this.
Well, I just thought, I was like, it's a classic for a reason. It's a Newbery honor. I like the idea of like a spunky medieval girl, but there was just not enough there.
I think one question I have is, would you have liked it if you read it when you were 9 or whatever?
I think I would have liked it more.
I think so too.
Yeah.
The diary format was just very repetitive, and she started putting like saint quotes at the top, or like saint facts, and it was just like the babble footnotes for me all over again. I'm like, I do not want this. I'm not reading this.
I did like them, and they were fun to me, but there were so many of them that I was like, I can't take them all in.
It could have been for like specific days.
Yeah, because it was like she was writing the feast days. That's what it was. So every day she was like, this is the saint whose feast it is today. But the entries themselves were short enough that it really broke up the flow if you stopped to read them all.
Yeah.
So I read a good chunk of them because I did like them, but I think there were too many.
Yeah. It was an ineffective literary device for me again.
Yeah. And this is really tough for me because it meets at the crossroads of footnotes, which I love, and sections that are italicized, which I skip.
Yeah, that is true.
So.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about this book?
No, let's go into the historical accuracy section.
Okay. So,
which will also probably be short.
Also, again, kind of like Taya Cooper, I love how much she shares like where she pulled her resources from on her website. I think that's really cool. Apparently, jumping back to the movie version, which we are going to do for a bonus episode. Apparently, the movie adaptation takes a lot more liberties and changes the ending to be lighter in tone.
The ending was pretty light in tone.
Yeah, I'm putting a pin in that because since we do want to watch it, I don't want to spoil it. Mm-hmm. But one of the reviews I found on it was, quote, reflects a disappointing trend towards poorly written, not so historical feminist dramas. So I'm interested to see, because right now that quote is about the movie. So I'm interested to see.
I bet that they just let her not get married at all.
I think so.
Okay.
That's what I'm guessing. So, yeah, putting a pin in that, we'll come back to that. But it was very hard trying to research the book because every time I did, because the movie's so new and has so many names attached to it, I would keep getting the movie.
Yeah.
And another thing, like we talked about at the beginning, this doesn't really take place with any specific event. It's just kind of set in generic 1200s. So there wasn't like a lot for me to research.
No, we don't have a ton to go on here.
I trust a lot of what's in here just inherently on the fact that she's giving us a bibliography. I'm not going to go check all those sources. I do not have time in the day for that. However, girls typically did marry in their teens. Marriage is based on financial gain. Children were much more seen as like tiny adults than just like children. Sewing, embroidery, etc. All the tasks are something a girl would do and most likely complain about. And since she was relatively upper class, it's very realistic she would have to learn to read and write in addition to household chores.
Okay.
So the diary makes sense. That
stands
tracks.
Up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And violence was a lot more normal at the time, just violence in society and also within the family, like we see with her father. Nothing really of massive historical note stuck out to me with this one. I feel like my historical research weeks are always weaker than yours anyway. But like this week was I was like bottom of the barrel.
You had a tough one. I don't really know what I would have done with this either.
There just wasn't like, I don't know if you're interested in learning more about where specifically Karen Cushman pulled from. Go check out some of the books. They're all on her website. But this book, it doesn't really have any specific events. Like it's...
No. That's it. That's
generic
all we got,
medieval. Yeah, it could have been set in a fantasy world if there had been like a dragon, and that would have been fine, you know?
Yeah.
But it also didn't have to.
All right. I guess it's time to calculate.
All right. So for this season, our categories are historical accuracy, theme, characters, which I forgot about, story, and vibes. Do you wanna go first?
All right. For historical accuracy, I'll go 4, just because I'm sure it gave me a neutral base, and the setting really did come alive. So there was not like a specific event, but I felt like this is not something that, because it's so rooted in that setting and it is kind of plotless, even though I think there was purpose in setting it in that time for like the feminist reasons, the whole thing would have to be rewritten if you set it some other time.
Yeah.
So I think the timing is really crucial to what story we do have. Theme, I gave it a 3. This kind of ties back into what I said about it being like, I feel conflicted about the lesson of the ending and like how it serves kids. So I think that's a neutral 3 for me. Characters, 3. I think most of those points go to Catherine. Everyone else was just kind of back filler to me. Story, 2. There really wasn't one. Vibes, 3. It was just kind of like rocking out like, it's there. So that's an even 3. And I think on Storygraph,
you gave it a 3.25.
Okay.
So pretty fair.
That tracks for me.
So that is a solid fine.
That's a solid fine.
Okay. Historical accuracy, I gave it a 4. Again, I agree with you completely. The setting was pretty crucial to the events of the book, but it didn't really it wasn't tied to any specific event. But I do think the setting was definitely important, and I think it was done well. The theme, I gave it a 1. I just that lesson, while it is there, was shoved in just so quickly at the end that it didn't really carry through the entire book. Like, she wasn't throughout the book trying to better herself.
Yeah, so, that's true.
Characters, I gave it a 4. Like I said, I really thought the characters were very good. I'm like, I might not remember most of their names, but they all stood apart to me.
And they had weird names.
They did have weird names, yeah. But I thought the characters were well done. Story, I gave it a 1 because there was no story. Vibes, I gave it a 2 because I like the format. So that's a 2.4. I gave it a 2 on Storygraph. This is a flop for me. Pretty big flop.
Yeah.
No Johnny Tremaine flop, but that's okay.
A neutral flop.
A neutral flop, yeah.
A flop leaning fine.
A flop leaning fine, exactly. This is a book that while I would not, and I think it's interesting because I think there's a couple this season. I would not recommend it to be part of any curriculum in school.
No, because where would it fit?
But I would definitely if I knew a kid who a spunky young girl who likes Dear America and the diary formats, I would be like, hey, check this book out. Yeah. You might like this.
This wouldn't be a book that we think a teacher should put on their syllabus.
Yeah.
But this is a perfectly acceptable book for your 3rd grader to do a book report on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So I guess that's it on Catherine Called Birdy, at least until we get to the bonus episodes.
Yeah, so this one will be coming back for sure, because also I just really want to see, even if we weren't doing a bonus episode, I would want to watch
the movie.
Yeah. Especially because it's easily accessible and not on Apple TV. What are we reading next week?
Next week, we are reading Listening for Lions by Gloria Whalen.
All right, and before we get to that episode, make sure you're following us on social, 5orFlop_pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also make sure you're tuned in for our Storygraph reading challenge to follow along for season 3.
If there's anything you think we should be reading, don't forget to fill out the recommendation form that you can find in the bio of all of our social medias, or you could just email us at 5orFlopPodcast@gmail.com.
All right, and until next time, happy reading.
Bye.